welcome back to Sea of Stars Hate Play. I am talking to myself, and this channel is talking to myself gaming. I do not remember what the hell I was doing. It's been 2 or 3 days, whatever it's ended up being. I hate this game, and I didn't really feel inclined to come back to it. But I have, and I am here, so let's do this. I don't immediately have anything in mind to think about. I have been paying attention, a little bit more attention on X, and I don't really have other media, other place to do it, so just YouTube, as far as what games are actually being, like what kind of games are actually being made by indie developers, and the games that seem to meet their, it seems to me that the games that meet their crowdfunding goals, the games that want to be indie but don't want to make the game and sell it to a traditional publisher like East Asia Soft, for instance, and let them make creative suggestions to actually get the game sold to the end user. So the point of the crowdfunding is that the end user basically already pledges to buy your game in a crowdfunding situation. And so you make the money that you need in order to live for the time it's going to require to make the game. Yeah, and then you make the game, and then you hope that you make your money back. But it seems like the games that actually meet their deadline, or not their deadline, but actually make their crowdfunding goals, that are actually able to live for the time that it requires to make a game, they seem to only make one kind of game. And that game is derivative nostalgia bait. The indie or small developer games that sell to actual publishers, even if they're indie publishing houses, I don't know that I would say that those games have a lesser or a greater quality, but they're tighter gameplay experiences. Absolutely, for sure, like there's no argument about that. So, like, I can't think of another bullet hell example, but Cult of the Lamb didn't try to do too many things with its initial release, and then they added a bunch of other things as the game sold and met its sales marks. And so I suppose what I'm thinking about is I didn't play Final Fantasy 16. I've made that clear in the previous videos, or made it clear in the previous videos, my previous videos, that I only have a Switch. I only have access to a Switch, even though I am using a computer. It's not powerful enough to game. Sometimes I play the Total War franchise on my computer, my laptop, but it's not powerful enough to game. And I don't particularly like the laptop experience for gaming enough to want to get back into computer gaming. I actually began my journey as a gamer on PC, and most of my time and attention and care have gone to the PC, especially because around 2010, maybe 2008, until about maybe 2018, the games that were coming out on console were either all shooters or all derivative JRPGs like Tales of Xillia that I've complained about. And so what I'm thinking about and what I'm prefacing is I've seen a lot of discourse around Final Fantasy 16 and its DLCs. And so the first thing that I think when I think about Final Fantasy 16 is that it's not a JRPG. It is an action JRPG maybe, but it's not a JRPG. And so it doesn't really belong in the conversation of derivative JRPGs, because it was trying to do something unique in the franchise. And I've spoken in this space, maybe even in the video before this, about how the active time battle is an attempt to make turn-based combat feel like active, like action combat. So Final Fantasy wanting to become just outright, just straight up an action JRPG doesn't bother me. It does, but it's not, even though it's a mainline Final Fantasy, it's not I don't remember his name. I want to say Hironobu Sakaguchi, but I'm not sure I know who that is. It's not the original director of Final Fantasy, so the new Final Fantasies haven't had a unified or interesting creative direction since Final Fantasy X-2, and that's not just because it would be easy to claim or easy to dismiss that claim as the nostalgia of someone who bought the Final Fantasy 12 10, the hard 10 box set with the special book hardcover strategy guide and just didn't like it very much. But that isn't what is actually happening, and it's not really what actually happened with that game. I played it and played the hell out of it, and actually for me, I did pretty close to a complete run of the game, like a completion run of the game. There were only a handful of the very most difficult special fights that I never completed, and only because I went and beat the game before doing them, and having found the ending lackluster and unsatisfying, just never felt the pressing need to come back to the game and punish it the way that I have done to this game a few times since since I've been recording. I can't say since you've been watching. This might be your first episode. And so what have I been talking about, and what am I talking about? I have talked about Final Fantasy 16. I've introduced Final Fantasy 16, and that it's not a Final Fantasy game, even though it has the title. It's a Squeenix game. But what I'm trying to say is that I've seen a lot of people complaining about the DLC and not understanding the point of DLC, because DLC comes from the PC gaming market, and console gamers don't understand the history of gaming and game development very well. The people my age or older who are console gamers and didn't play on PC are used to games. They became used or got used to games being released unfinished, and that just being what you got. And you just fall in love with a game for its jank and its unfinished, and that's the best you get. Like a movie. Like, you fall in love with movies because of their jank in a lot of ways. Because of what's not perfect about them. And so, the generation that I grew up among, the generation of gamers that I grew up among, and those before me who grew up on console, they don't understand that PC games, especially since the advent of the internet, the PC developer has embraced being able to patch their games, maybe even since before the... How am I getting this wrong? How am I using the wrong attack every time? That's twice in a row I've done that. Certain that I was on the fire sword attack. Anyway, you could patch old PC games in the very early days of the internet. Now I don't know the lore, and I don't know how it worked because I was too young and we didn't have the internet, but I began playing around with and experiencing the internet all the way back as early as 5th grade. So for me that would have been maybe 95. And even then, even on the old AOL, the old, yeah, even on the old AOL platform, there were downloadable indie games that were cheap or free to play. And so I played a shitload of those back in the day, and I found them charming because I didn't see similarities to the games that I had available to me on the SNES and the PlayStation. But my point is less that this phenomenon has existed, to my perspective, since at least 1996, as far as what I was talking about when I feel like, did I wipe? Huh. I should have watched back the previous video before I did this, but I didn't feel like it. What just attacked me? Shit, I didn't even see anything in this room. What in God's name? Now I really don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, developers have been wanting to patch their games since the beginning of games development. They've wanted to be able to patch their product after it went to market, and gamers used to want it. Like, just imagine if Battletoads, because of its development cycle on the SNES, famously, if you don't know, Battletoads is famously unfinished, so the second or third level, I think it might actually be the second level, is very nearly impossible to beat because the game was unfinished. That happened a lot. And that's why I notice in this game at the beginning, and I pointed out that you can really tell that they got the first stage, the tutorial stage of this game, polished and ready to go, and they put a lot of effort into making it playable and look polished, because this game, I don't know for a fact, but this game has all of the hallmarks of a crowdfunded indie title. It has all the hallmarks of a crowdfunded indie title. And the tutorial stage being the best part of the game, the first chapter of a game, the first world or first stage or first level, or however you want to think about it in video game terms, being the very best part of the game is indicative of a development hell, a development cycle that just went to hell and took forever and lacked that veteran leadership that I've been talking about being so very obviously so very important to this medium. And really to everything. I mean, I just listened to an interview with Deion Sanders. I don't care about college football even a little bit. I actually morally object to the idea of college football. Ow, because I'm going to sun ball like it's sun dash or something. I'm dumb. Nobody ever accused me of being smart. In fact, the only times anyone has ever accused me of being smart, it was to complain. I got fired once for being too smart. All my manager said to me was, "You're too smart. You're just too smart." Now, she was out of her mind on Xanax, but still got fired. I've got 2 hours to pen this thought down. I'm not in any hurry. In fact, if I haven't progressed the story to something more interesting enough to give it a separate title, I might have another 2 hours after this to pen down this idea. I'm not in any hurry. And if you are, just calm down. You got nowhere to be. Reminds me of that song by Diamond Rio, I think it was. I'm in a hurry to get things done, oh why? Yeah, that one. Rush until life's no fun. All we really gotta do is live and die. We're all in a hurry, and we don't know why. Great song. Don't sue me. Especially if that's Alabama and I got the name of the band wrong. I think in lyrics. Because lyrics are memorable and there's very often wisdom contained in lyrics. Oh shoot, I should have saved my... I forgot what I said I was going to do. I should have saved. Here is my first save. Well, we just... If I lose... If the audio gets corrupted or the video gets corrupted before I can... You just miss out. Sorry, folks. Did I just leave the dungeon because I don't remember where the hell I am? I did indeed. I'm in a hurry. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. We used to freely quote poetry, and in fact having a wide array of poems and various other literature available at your fingertips, so to speak, was a sign of culture and intellect in the previous century. This isn't the podcast to talk about that, but being cultured and intellective and demonstrating those skills is a skill set that our century has rejected and lost. Am I? Oh, it's because I'm not touching them. You say to yourself, I must be doing something wrong. And you're right. We rejected those things because we saw them as elitist. And the general millennial rejectionism about which I have spoken at length on my actual podcast of talking to myself. Caused us to reject those things which were markers of culture, intellect, education, as gatekeeping and as elitist. And we have done ourselves and our civilization, our culture, a great disservice. Only remembering and only referencing recent things and only consuming the things that we already know that we like has done a great disservice to our culture and our civilization and ourselves. I should have just gone ahead and used the power up. You know, I don't want to call anyone out specifically, but I've seen a lot of reviews for this game that don't say anything critical, that don't even offer anything critical. All they say is positive things. So, like, that this game doesn't have a quest log, they don't mention. That this game doesn't really have a story, they don't mention. That the characters don't have any characterization or personality, they don't mention. The only thing that reviewers mention is how this is like things you already like. And that, I know that I continue to go on and on and on and on about that, and I've forgotten really where I was trying to end up with the development cycle and how little console gamers know about development. But if I think I know why I was trying to talk about that, I think what I'm trying to talk about is taking advantage of the ignorance of your audience. And so I'm trying to come at it from a different perspective. Because if I just tell you that you or that other people are ignorant of the history of games and the I don't know, the vast ocean of content within them, I sound like I'm trying to say that I've played all these games, but I haven't played. I mean, other than the games that you hear me talking about, I haven't really played a wide variety of games. I'm actually, until recently, I'm actually like, if I'm talking about referencing poems, etc., as a sign or a marker of culture and education, I'm not particularly cultured or educated on video games. I've played a lot of JRPGs, but not even a huge portion of them. I've played the Final Fantasies. I've played the things that were fairly easy to get my hands on, and then I was frequently bitten whenever I would try to play things that were maybe a little bit more difficult to get my hands on. And so that's why you'll hear me rave about like how good Atelier is, but then why I wonder whether the Ys series was ever good. I don't know. I haven't played it. Or like you'll hear me talk about the Tales series, but it was only within the last several months that I played Symphonia, or the one that followed Symphonia. I didn't finish it. The Tales series has a real bad habit of letting you skip the combat, and by that I mean put it on, because the Tales series also tries to do the hybrid turn-based action combat thing, and I always hated it. I always hated the way that they did it, and so and Symphonia and the one after Symphonia, I just left the auto combat on, just let the game do the combat by itself, and then do enough. Just make sure to do enough random encounters that my guys are powerful enough that it's just fun to watch. But there are sections in all of the Tales games that force you to play the combat system like you've been playing it the whole time and like you're actually good at it. And so I was able to brute force my way through that section in Symphonia, and it was just a dead end for me in the one after Symphonia. I don't remember what it's called. And so I'm not well read, and so that I'm able to notice, and that's one thing that I've been like reminding myself as I criticize this game for being so derivative. And this is not even giving the game compassion. It's wondering what references this game, not even references, and that's the other thing, is like people compliment this game for so openly wearing its inspiration on its sleeves, and it's like that's not inspiration, that's intellectual property theft. And I guess saying that just made me lose what I was building to again. I'm lost. Not being able to see and hear. is making this more difficult and more time consuming than it necessarily needs to be. And like that I can't. So like this actually makes me think of the Rainbow games, Rainbow Skies, and I think it was called maybe Rainbow Moon. It makes me think of that series, because that series does this. It does the inside of caves is dark, and you just have your immediate area. But there are consumable items called torches that light up the area so that you can see. And when you have the torches lit, you can find items, the items that RPGs always hide on the game map. You can't find them without the torches lit in Rainbow Moon and Rainbow Skies. And I actually think that's a brilliant gameplay mechanic, because you wouldn't be able to see in the dark. I think that's just such good immersion. But this, there's no benefice to not being able to see in the dark. There's no reason they've done this other than the immersion that it looks cool. I mean, it does look cool. I'm so lost, though. So when I back out of this room, this game's also real bad about having the save points and the camps that you can set up be in, I wouldn't say random places, but not be in places that are intuitive to the level of design of the game, so that you can navigate, I can navigate based on save points. Which is how I usually navigate. Alright, well this room has a save, so it must be... Because I do a lot of process of elimination in these maps. It's very difficult for me to memorize them, especially when I can't see them. But if you've been watching me play up to this point, you know that. I do a lot of walking back and forth, round and round and round in circles. Like I don't know the dungeon well enough to know what I activated when I flipped that switch. Or whatever. Whatever it was, I did a thing that moved something in another room, and I don't remember where I was. I don't know where it was on the map. I don't remember what the map looks like well enough. So I'm just gonna wander around in circles. Like, this looks cool, but I wish I could see. I would rather be able to see. I'm photosensitive anyway, so I spend a lot of time in low light conditions. And so if video games are supposed to be a power fantasy or whatever, I would like the fantasy of being able to see in bright light without squinting and wincing away from it. Just go everywhere I can possibly go. And see, this is another game. This is the exit, right? This is another moment where this game would benefit from random encounters. But yeah, if it had random encounters, because I'm going back to the exit, aren't I? Yeah. If it had random encounters, this that I keep finding myself back at the entrance to the dungeon would be annoying. But it's not annoying because there, other than the time spent wandering around in the dungeon learning it, there's no danger. There's no emergent threat. There's no urgency to clear this dungeon. Like, there's not even anything dangerous in it. I can't see. So I don't know what is and what isn't path. So I'm just going everywhere I can go. I don't know what's up here. I don't remember. Right, that room. Because I can't see. I can't remember what I'm doing because I can't see. So this is forward, so that this is the only place I can go. This is the only place that has a zone line. Now I saw that there was a climbable something over there. I thought there was climbable vines over that way, so maybe I need to, maybe it's there. Maybe I'm going too far in my backtrack. I mean, this certainly does look like, you know, in big bold letters, the next part of the dungeon. It looks like I even had to put like balls or whatever in the door to get it to unlock. So where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know, man. I don't know. I do know I'm not high enough for this shit. So this is a treasure. They sure do like to fucking waste my time. Like, dungeons being big and confusing is something I like in a game that is doing them because that's what it sort of wants you doing with your time. This game doesn't really want you doing with your time. It doesn't really want me in here. It wants me to clear this quickly. Aha! Did I already go this way? It's a big neat looking plant. I'd like it if it did something. This is how I got here, isn't it? What's this? Okay. So that's the switch I flipped. Did it raise these platforms? Is that what it did? Did it activate that so then I can come over here? And then these are going to be super tedious and slow. Tedium, thy name is Sea of Stars. I think what it is that reviewers don't play JRPGs. I think that the review channels or these are the games that you should buy channels, like, again, not calling out Glenn and co. I've already said their names on this channel, so if they came here because I also do something similar to what they do and they wanted to see what I'm doing, they're going to think that I'm coming at them, but I like and comment, and I am subscribed to their channel, and I watch everything that they upload. That's why they're so fresh on my mind. Is in a way I am a fan. But what I've noticed is even if the one, not the cousin, but the one who has the son and runs the channel or whatever, even if he did play like some of these RPGs as a kid, I don't think he's really thought about games as a critiquer and as somebody who understands story and craft and game and is interested in those things. She acts like a hipster and it annoys me. And so that's not how he approaches them. He just approaches them as... He approaches it from the philosophy, and this is actually great and fine, and it's a wonderful way to live, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But he approaches it from the standpoint of enjoying the thing as the thing. But things like Sea of Stars, like Black Skylands, they're not the thing in themselves. They're not a standalone thing. Like islets, I've heard people pronounce it islets. Islets is like its own thing. And I like it for that reason. It's a tight game experience that's trying to do one thing. Why can these gorillas speak, and why do they have red butts? Why do they have orangutan butts? Is it? It's orangutan that have red butts, right? So they're old enough that they remember clouds? I don't remember the headmaster or that Teeks bitch, and I don't know why Teeks isn't here with us. I would like it if Teeks actually came with us and said these things and gave us context as they were happening, because that would be interesting. How do they call themselves Our Order? They don't call the order by its name? It's like, do you think that cops call being cops, like call other cops, or call the union of cops our union, our colleagues? So we're going through another Saturday morning quest, helping these guys because whatever. I genuinely don't care. I don't even have a funny name I don't even have like a funny name like the pirates that don't do anything for these damn gorillas. Did that go up? I see. I wish I could see. Why do I feel like this is the entrance? Or did I just go, or did they just get tired of it is the entrance. Fine. Decent level design. Can't bitch about that. Nothing to bitch about there. Decent level design. No reason not to have a teleporter in and out of deep parts of the dungeon. I've mentioned that they're pretty good about that frequently. Which means that their Kickstarters did playtest this. Their Kickstarters were just unqualified to critique them. And it's like, right, if you're willing to kickstart a game that promises to be just like something you already know you like, you're already willing to wear blinders to what's not good about it. If you're willing to kickstart it, you're basically promising not to give them negative feedback. And an artist who's not getting negative feedback isn't an artist. And so that, I sat down to take a shit earlier, and I was thinking, I should think while I'm sitting here on the pot about what other things I want to come out of me today. And one of the things that I was thinking about is video games as art, and that old argument. And games like Sea of Stars, Black Skylands, like they really do make the argument against games being art. Like, would you say that a Saturday morning cartoon, for being a Saturday morning cartoon, is art? And so now somebody critiqued and said, hey, the Fleshmancer doesn't seem to have had any impact in the world in any kind of meaningful way. And so we're not chasing down his impact left over in the world and how he plans on making it get worse. And so now, whatever we're in, 6 or 8 dungeons later, or 10 story quests into the game, they're like, oh, there are actually these seeds that he leaves around. And it turns out it wasn't our order, it was the bad guy who locked this mountain. Other than a crippling sense of dread. Oh, so you're the Mothman. And so what they did was seal it and never return. That doesn't even make sense as an explanation for what humans would do. Like, the suicide forest in Japan isn't sealed off magically and people aren't forbidden to go there. It's just like, hey, maybe don't go here. That's what we do. This doesn't even make sense. Like, even having the gorillas look like orangutan. Like, if you know the story about the orang pendak, like, the orangutan itself was a cryptid for a time. God, what are they thinking? So the tethered mind potion allows us to remember this place. Yeah, it certainly is good that the God in the Machine, Deus Ex Machina, our Deus Ex Machina character, gave us something that would allow us to remember this place. He's all, I'm not doing anything. I'm not making choices or making any kind of impact in the world, but you're the only people that are allowed to know the truth about this place because of my impact and my choices. You don't get to make choices, but I most certainly do. Because he didn't send them here. He, remembering that the narrator, the actual Jesus of this world, the immortal alchemist guy, if we remember about him, that he's God. Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying because words just popped up on the screen. He sent us here knowing that we weren't going to make choices, or that if we made choices, they were going to be the choices he wanted us to make. So, an omniscient narrator sending the choice-making characters out into the world, knowing what choices they're going to make, that's I've been talking in the Talking to Myself podcast about free will versus determinism, and that's having a deterministic God. And so, like, the whole reason that JRPGs and the Eastern style JRPG and the console RPG died in the first place as very, very popular games, because you may not remember, but Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasies 7 and 8 were the biggest games that the years that they came out. Nothing was bigger than that. So there was a time when this style of game was the very, very, very most popular game amongst young people and children. The reason that went away is because you don't get to make meaningful choices, and so the first time somebody that grew up playing a JRPG played an American RPG, which is based around D&D, which is all about the player's choice. So the first time they played a Fallout game, not Fallout 3, but any Bethesda game, any of the Elder Scrolls games, and fine, Fallouts 3, 4, New Vegas, and whatever the expansion is, and that gets me back to talking about content DLC. So let's just end all of that there and watch this terrible dialogue. My characters don't get to make choices. The Deus Ex Machina, the God in the Machine, the writers of this game are premeditating all of our choices. They're railroading everything that we do. So they're deciding our choices. So I exist in a deterministic story, and the deterministic story is why the West stopped playing these games. We wanted at least the illusion of choice, and this game doesn't even bother to give you that. Wow, this is a lot bigger and scarier than the set piece, whatever these things are called, Ender or whatever. Wow, they really did not indicate to me that this was coming at all, did they? I don't remember when the last time I saved was. But I'll be fine. They took Sarai. And then gave me a boss that does poison damage. The way you're supposed to beat these bosses is by preventing them from using their... Oh, I shouldn't have healed with her. Is by preventing their big attacks on the first round. So I'm not really supposed to beat this. It's whatever, let's just come out and wipe. I really gotta stop eating almonds when I play this game. Oh yeah, I can't even hurt it. Yeah, I'm just wasting... This is my first scripted loss. Wow, they really did everything inside out in this game. Your first scripted loss is supposed to come against your first boss fight. And then if they hit you with another scripted loss, like Chrono Trigger hitting you with the first time you fight Lavos and the first time you fight Magus are both scripted losses. Like, those are after you feel super powerful. Like, why didn't I get this going into this boss fight? It's fucking stupid. Doesn't make me think Sarai's cool, it just looks dumb. The more I look at this, the more I see the Masters of the Universe in the animation. I actually see the Saturday morning cartoon in the cutscenes, the pre-rendered anime cutscenes, and that makes me hate the game even more. Not because I have any particular emotion about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, but because I hate its fans. You're the most boring people in the history of the universe. You know that show was bad. You know it was bad. You knew it was bad when you were watching it. But you'll suck at that teat till you die. And it's fucking embarrassing for you. Like, we talk a lot on the internet about things being cringe. And frankly, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is the most cringe thing, in my opinion. Well, maybe boys liking She-Ra is the only thing I can think of that's more cringe. Like the virtue signaling of liking a show that's not even interested in you watching it, let alone virtue signaling that you like it, is just so fucking lame and cringe. Oh, now I get to hurt it. This is so dumb. I hate this. It offends my sensibilities. Just offends me as a gamer and as an adult who has survived the last 20 years. As a thinking person who remembers existing before this last 20 years. And you know, this isn't the place, but I'm angry and it's coming up. But it's just another 9/11 reaction. What do I want to do? I need to hit it with this, right? I can probably use her to combo. I bet I'm probably not going to get a combo. This is going to be cutting it close. I just wanted to get this twice. I think I got it. That's a cool attack. I wish I didn't feel like saying at the end of every time I use it, I wish I knew why that didn't work. So what I should do... What I should do is I should spend these points. Oh, nice. That worked. I totally know why. No, using an orb adds fire to his attacks and it adds moon to hers. I suppose, I haven't noticed, but I suppose it probably adds a poison to hers. It's interesting, I haven't noticed that. I wonder if it stacks twice. That's pretty balanced. That's good. That's good looking out on the part of the developers. This hurts real good, so I should just go ahead and give it to him. Boom! Fuck your couch. I am the age that I am. Never watched that show, though. Not never. I didn't watch it when it was... How does this attack... Oh, this is this long-ass attack that I just have to watch. Because I'm not allowed to skip it, right? No, thank you. No, thank you. Not in here. Thank you. Not in here. This is a long attack. It's like... Again, it's like they played... Or it's like they knew someone who played a lot of Final Fantasy VII. And so they went over to their house and watched them play the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies. So 7, 8, 9. And they thought, oh man, those long-ass summon cutscenes sure do look cool. But then, because they didn't play the game themselves, they never actually played the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies, they didn't know how fucking annoying it was to have to watch those cutscenes every single time you use the summon. That's why now, in modern games, you can skip that shit. And I'll actually give Glenn, I think his name is, I'd actually like to give Switch Up props. I said that they rarely actually critique negatively the games that they play, but they actually did say about this game and Black Skylands and other recent retro style games that it would sure be nice if they were made with the sensibilities of modern games. Like, it's cool that they look and feel like old games, but it would be nice if they played like modern games. They didn't play like old games. And so, like, sure, I do like that I get to be involved in the combat, that there's the blocking and the and I know I've complained about how it doesn't work all that great all the time, but the more I learn about it, the deeper and richer that system actually gets. So, ooh, nice. Okay, I haven't gotten a near-death animation in a while, and that's hideous and grotesque. As somebody with a partly failing body, seeing one that's dying around the living shell or dying around the living, seeing a desiccated dead shell around an ostensibly living soul is hard to look at for me. And see, that's the thing, like, using horror elements like this and it being horrific. I know that I said horror elements and horrific in the same thing as an example, but doing these things, it's not just supposed to be ugly and hard to look at and horrific and all of the things that these things that I'm talking about are. They're not just supposed to be that. They're not just, like, it's not supposed to be that just because or just to be that. When a piece of art, and I know now I'm talking about why this isn't art. I guess there's a good way to find out. I don't remember what I was saying. I got to thinking. A good piece of art knows its themes, and it addresses itself, and it knows what it's thinking about, and it knows what it's saying, and it knows what it wants you to be thinking about, most specifically. And so, like, I have no confidence. I have no confidence. I wonder. Let's see. No, the answer is no. I have no confidence that the reason that they designed this character to look the way that it does is because there's a greater depth to this, that they've thought deeply about what it means to be this thing. In fact, I don't think even in the sprite design as it's sitting there and you're in dialogue with it, implied that it looked this bad, that it was even dead at all. And the way that it talked, the I was there for its last incursion, and just the kind of stating what happened like it just happened. It's such a grandmotherly way of presenting it that I don't believe that this thing is in despair or in torment on any level. I don't think it's hurting. It doesn't look like it's hurting. It doesn't act like it's hurting. And the Saturday morning of all of this takes away the effect of this thing being gross and ugly. It looking the way that it does is just a matter of circumstance. It just looks the way that it does because it looks the way it does. And that's just the biggest kind of disappointment that you can have in character design as far as I'm concerned. Something looking the way it does because the artist didn't think about it is just lame. It's just boring. It doesn't encourage me to look at it and think deeply. And what are you doing as an artist and as a storyteller if what you're not doing is encouraging me to look at your art and look at what you've made and think deeply about it? If you don't want me to pause and be affected by this, why did you make it? What were you doing? Other than just showing off that you could. And like showing off that you can in a lot of ways is what it would look like if my work were 20 minutes long. Yeah, I'm showing off that I can edit these down and make them consumable by a mass media. But what are you doing when you do something just to prove that you can do it? You're proving that you can do it. But isn't that what the idiom, sure, you could do it, but you never stop to think about whether you should do it. Isn't that what that idiom means? Isn't that what it's referring to? Sure, you could make this game the way that you made it, but did you ever stop to think about whether you should make it the way that you have made it? And I'm not even trying to be semantic or clever. I'm dead serious. I'm upset that wasn't a low health animation. It was just what it looks like when you do enough damage to the hands. I don't particularly care about doing damage to the hands or how much it changes the level. This game has taught me that when they have NPC helpers, it's best to ignore them and to do AoE damage as often as possible. So I'm just going to ignore the hands and stack as much damage on the head as I can. I should have healed him. It's all good though, because he can barely hurt me. This is getting annoying. See, again, didn't playtest their game. That I can use this 3, 4, 5 times and I have to sit through it like this and it just completely stops the game. And that's a criticism that I made a video or two ago about this game, is that every time it starts to get moving, it adds negative momentum. So this isn't a start and stop experience. It's a roller coaster that you're waiting to start climbing the mountain. Start climbing the first hill. It's like they haven't even dropped me yet. I'm in the roller coaster. They're just telling me all about it. Well, this is what's going to come, and this is what it's like, and these are some better roller coasters that we rode and thought that you might like to hear us talk about. Like, that's the experience that they've given me right now. And it's like, other than the challenge of, I say this, I feel like I say this every episode now, but other than the challenge of saying that I have beaten it, what's the point? What is my my motivation to beat this game? So, you know, if I'm an actor, it's cliche to do this now. But if you're an actor, one of the things that you want to know about your part is what are the motivations of the character that I'm playing? Okay, well, what are the motivations of the character that I'm playing are the first question that you have to answer in any video game experience that's narrative or that has a playable character. Because your gamer, your player, needs to know why they're playing. Like, okay, so what needs to know why their character is making the choices that they're making. What are my motivations? Why am I doing what you say I'm doing? Why am I feeling the way you say that my character feels? But they don't bother to tell us how these characters feel. Like, sure, they do some emotive dialogue in this last scene, the last couple of scenes where, like, Zale is like, oh, how could our order, is what he calls it, how could our order do these things? But it's like, that's not characterization, that's just, I mean, it's an attempt at characterization. What it is it's not successful. What it is not is successful characterization. I'm not really learning anything about him, and he's not like saying his catchphrase or doing that thing that I've come to love him for doing. Example, Final Fantasy VIII. Zell has anger issues, and he's super high strung. And so, I was sitting in here playing it the other day, and between two story sections, Zell, the party are all together, and something dramatic has just happened, and Zell is losing his shit about it, and he's not saying anything, but his character design is standing in place and shaking in anger and then intermittently punching the air. Now, that's an antique. The reason that he was doing those very basic animations is because they had a very basic number of animations that they were able to use to communicate emotion. But his doing that is happening during all the dialogue of all these other characters talking. He doesn't say anything. His sprite is just doing that. And then at the end of the dialogue, Squall, the main character, notices him and then thinks about it. Oh my god, why is he so high strung? And it's genuinely hilarious, because if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have noticed that he's being high strung in the background of the scene. And by paying attention, I mean, like, if you were only looking at the dialogue boxes because you were just trying to read through the scene and you weren't paying attention to what the scene was doing visually. And so, among JRPGs, a lot of the reason, my least favorite thing, and the thing that I complain about the most in the JRPG, I don't know, market, milieu, and among JRPGs, the thing that I complain about most among JRPGs is the visual novel of it all. Is how you don't even get animations like that. The best that you get is a still standing 2-dimensional anime sprite that's supposed to convey emotion or movement, and it just doesn't in any kind of way. And so my point in all of this is that in a role-playing game, as I talked about in my JRPG talk, my Big 3 JRPG episode, you're playing a role in the same way as an actor. And so I said this, but you need to know what your motivations are, what your character's motivations are, especially if you're going to be making choices. And so what makes roleplay, what makes D&D, what makes being a professional as an actor attractive, and what makes play acting attractive, and why people get into it as professionals isn't because it's a good source of money. It's because you get to you find that you get to make interesting choices. So, like, I think that we have this idea that actors just read the script and they just do what the script says, or they just do what the director says. But the best movies, the script writer and the director, if they're separate people, are surprised by, and they're surprised by the choices that the actors make, and that the choices that the actors make and the role of the character that they're portraying or that they're representing, if I want to stick to themes that I've talked about in the podcast. And talking to myself, God damn, this fight has taken forever. The choices are what's interesting. So, like, it's a meme, or it's going around, it's a meme right now. I hate his movies, but that Quentin Tarantino movie with the Gimp and with Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson. Anyway, there's a scene where John Travolta and Sam Jackson are in a car, and John Travolta actually accidentally kills a guy. And in the script, John Travolta says he read the script and he thought that the scene was fine, but that the stage direction and his character immediately says after accidentally shooting that guy in the script didn't work. And so he said, this needs to be funny. It needs to work for the audience. And so that's where the "I shot him in the face" line came from. It was actually a choice that the actor made while the camera was rolling. And so everyone around him was surprised because it was a choice that they made for the character. And so when I'm sitting here harping on choice, these characters make no choices. They make no choices. They make no choices. I'm not role-playing. And the writers of this story, the only role that's getting any kind of development, that's making any kind of choices, and look, she doesn't look dead. She doesn't look tormented. The Saturday morning of this all pisses me off. The juxtaposition of what you see here in the world map and then what you see in combat during the set piece fights is annoying. What you see on the world and what you see in the anime cutscenes is annoying. That they're not the same, that they're not a unified whole, is annoying. Chrono looks the same. I don't want this to be happening. I'm so angry I don't remember what I was talking about anymore. I was actually wrapping up. I was getting to a point. Thanks for making that a difficult puzzle. Thanks for doing it on the world map, but I'd still like to point out, again, another episode in a row, and I know you're going to get tired of it, but I'm going to point out again that there are absolutely no ramifications. I did that going backward in time, not forward in time. I just moved it a whole 24 hours back in time. So now my characters are all a day older than they were. Oh, they were yesterday. Is this a sliding tile puzzle? It's a rotating tile puzzle? That's even less interesting or creative. Shoot, I went one too far. You can solve this by accident. Thanks for wasting my time. And it doesn't look like anything. I don't like it when you give me puzzles for no reason that are a waste of time and are super easy to solve. Now, if there's going to be a bunch of those coming up, they did that because Persona 5 did it. That's the same puzzle that Persona 5 uses in the one area about this. Yeah, look, it's even got a pyramid. Yeah, they're referencing Persona 5 is absolutely not what they're doing. Persona 5 had this, so now they have it. Putting things that you like from that you have experienced or that other people liked from what they experienced into the thing that you made isn't creative choices. That's not a creative choice. It's a choice, but it's not creative. What did getting that do for me? What am I supposed to do with this? Does it want me to go back to Dickhead? He's right here, right? And so what? Now I'm forced to go back to the narrator? Narrator? I like it, narrator, better. Let's call him the narrator. I don't think this is back to the narrator. I want to get off this island, but I don't want to go through this zone that I have to go through to the south to get through this island. Okay, so two complaints that I have. Well, wait. Before I make the complaint, let's experiment. Let's see something. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know what the game wants me to do next. So in JRPGs, in SNES and PlayStation 1 era JRPGs, some NES era JRPGs, they had the camp and the party, as people that you could speak to, not as sprites following around behind you as you moved, so that if you didn't know where you were going, you could come and talk to them and they would give you hints. She has nothing to say. He just recapped what just happened. Aha, rush on the vial. There you go. You go and you talk to the other audience insert, well, not the audience insert character, but the other, and this isn't air quotes, main character, and they'll tell you where to go. Fine. That is acceptable. I would like it if zones like this that I've already completed, I could just walk through, because I can just walk through them without getting into combat encounters now, I think. This area doesn't even have combat encounters. I shouldn't have to zone in here to pass through it. So if you're going to take Mystic Quest's, if you're going to try to steal Mystic Quest's map mechanic, you need to remember what worked about it and what was good about it. And that was not having to go through zone maps like this of areas that you'd already beaten. Don't waste my time. My time isn't precious. Because I have an unlimited amount of it to waste if I choose. But other people's time is precious. And so if I'm playing this so you don't have to, I'm not. But if I were to advertise it that way, I don't remember what I was saying. Doesn't matter. Oh, if I were playing this so you don't have to, I would expect it to have conveniences that you would want, you, a person who doesn't have an unlimited amount of time to waste however they choose. And this game doesn't seem to remember what makes, again, the complaint that it doesn't play like a modern game. It doesn't appreciate that I can't, in fact, come through this area without getting into combat encounters. That's annoying. Yeah, it doesn't play like a modern game. It plays like it's for kids in the 90s who don't have other distractions, other things to do with their time. But it's like, I don't have 60 hours for your story to start. The 2 hours that I give to these videos, I mean, you know this just from watching me play it. This is a precious amount of your day. A precious amount of time. And look at how they're respecting it. Look at how they treat us. the gamer. Like, look at what they think of us. Their biases and their assumptions about us, how we spend our time. What we like, what we don't like. That was weird. Did I just camp? Why did I do that? I already saved. I thought I was... I just hit up and A. Just, you know, muscle memory. I'm so convinced that I'm going to look down at my... I've talked about this before. I'm so convinced that I'm going to look down at my audio recording and it's going to be turned off again. That now I almost am spending more time looking at Audacity, I think is what I use. How do I... Oh, right. I'm spending more time looking at Audacity than I am this. Also, I was wondering about their decision for Y to be forward in this game. Was I wrong about where Roshan is? It says he's on this island. It says he's in that tower. Okay. That's annoying. He has a teleporter, doesn't he? There was a teleporter to him. I took just... Oh, I hate this. Going back up here is such such a pain in my ass. Oh, I messed up. I messed up, folks. I made a bad choice. And then I saved over... Shit. I was just thinking that what I could have done is just go back to my previous save, but I saved over. Didn't I? That's why you use multiple saves, dude. You should know better. Hi, cat. How are you doing? You gonna make a bunch of noise, or you gonna come cut me up because I'm not wearing a shirt? So I've been bitching about a lot of things, and I don't remember what any of them are, so I'm just gonna keep playing now. Now we're just gonna... Oh, and now it comes. The blinking and the yawning have begun. So, I apologize for the yawning, especially if you, for whatever reason, have developed an amount of empathy for me and it makes you yawn. You should know better. I don't remember what is in this cave, so we're going in it. Fuck it. Oh, nothing. Well, thank you for letting me jump down. I will evidently go into a whole dungeon system that I've already beaten just to jump off a cliff. That right there, that was a callback to episode 1, y'all. I'm doing it. I'm making callbacks and everything. You literally don't know me. It's about fucking time I can kill trash with one hit. Let's just give them props for finally letting that shit happen. I like this game so little, I don't even pick flowers anymore. You notice that? If you've been watching the whole time, in the first few episodes I was picking flowers and stuff, making sure to have materials to cook, and I don't even bother anymore. I cook so rarely. The last several dungeons I've wasted food just to make sure that I'm not leaving it lying on the ground in the dungeon. So that if I backtrack, I won't think I'm in a new room. And then get myself even more lost than I was. I think Lake Diarrhea has a teleporter down in that whirlpool. I'm upset with my Final Fantasy VIII playthrough right now. If what I was trying to do was a complete run from memory of the strategy guide, if that makes sense. If I was trying to do that, I'm not going to succeed. I missed a book. A weapon book. Okay. This is not where the teleporter is, then? I thought maybe it's just in one of these buildings. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to this girl over here. Because I got a feeling. Is this little whore? Of course. You can find them. Like, why did they ask where we can find them? I have like 13 of them. I have 17. In plans. Cornucopia. That's it? That's it? Fuck you, game. Something transactional, something beautiful, something shrewd, something healthy, something relaxing, something potent, and something meta. Hate you. I can't believe 17 is... God, it's so few. So few rewards for engaging with that. Stop whacking me with your tail. I'm allowed to be agitated. That's what I'm doing. I'm playing this to be agitated for the amusement of the folks. I don't know who the folks are. I don't know why I called you folks. I don't know why I'm talking to a cat like it speaks English. He, in this case. Is it through here that the teleporting majig is? I really don't remember. And Pseudo. This looks so much cooler in Harvestella. It's actually kind of funny to think that Harvestella has the same world map. Did they play Harvestella before deciding to do that? I'm beginning to suspect that the teleporty little bubble thingy majig that I want, not in this town. Yeah, the hide and seek kids in the underwater world is a quest in Harvestella. What the fuck? Can you be any more derivative? Like they're even being derivative of good indie games that are released by third-party producers. Can you be any less, not even original, genuine? Can you be any more disingenuous? It's just proving you can make a game like those. And that's a $5 game. Like the proof of concept game. Bitch. He is in Aunt Sudlow. So how the fuck do I teleport to him? I thought there was a fucking portal. Ugh, it's making me mad. I don't want to do this. I don't like this wandering around not remembering where shit is because nothing's intuitive. And I don't have a map and I can't just jump. There it is. Fuck you. Fuck you, game. Alright, let's go talk to this fucking... Let's go talk to God. That could be really hateful and say, let's go talk to the developers. With all of your... Notice he didn't say considerable strength. And that he gave it to the actually physically least strong person in the group. Because this game has done everything that they can to remind us that he's only fat. Cool. So you can animate throwing things for the combat sequences, but you just waste my time by throwing it like that. Better hold up your end of the bargain. No more bullshit. Please be cargo. He is. I predicted it when I saw him turn around and look like that, being all purple. But he is this game's Magus. And because Magus is a cool character in Chrono Trigger that you fight as an enemy multiple times, and he's extremely powerful. When he joins your party, it's a meme. We've been complaining for 30 years or whatever since that game came out that it's insane that when you have enemies join your party, that are stronger than your party. It took all 4 of you to beat them, but then they join your party and they're weaker than your party, than any individual in your party. We've been complaining about that being stupid for 30 years. Almost 40 years. No, 20 years, almost 30 years. And here, this game just explains it away by saying, I'm not here to make this easy for you, so I'm going to limit my power. And only the 3 of you are allowed to know who I am. That bitch isn't allowed to know. How does he not know that she wouldn't figure it out? I like her even less now. I liked her. I wished that she was in the party, but every time they use her, it's just Deus Ex Machina. There's no character. She just has to do this because it's what her character would do. It's not a choice. You're showing me because if you don't show me her doing that, it's a plot hole. We're going to be going, why didn't she ask who this person is? I don't know where I'm going, so just look for a star. How did I know it was back? Because this game only goes back and forth. I bet it wants me to teleport here, doesn't it? Then why did it put me on the ship? Going to Mesa Boogie. Before I do that and get annoyed, I'm going to actually just go to where the star was and visually confirm that I'm going to Dalaran. Yes. Oh, I was saying I thought it was a strange choice to have the move forward be Y instead of A. And then I played Final Fantasy VIII, and that's how the vehicles move in Final Fantasy VIII, is you press Y to move forward. So that's how they're going to do it. That's how they have to do it in this. It's because that's how they did it, so that's how they're going to do it. It's dumb. It's just bad choices, bad design choices. Empty design choices. Now, I've already been here before, so this loses power because you let me come here and nothing happened. 150 years should do it. So, of course, he made these. So if they're referencing in any way Nier Automata, where there's the giant robot that you can do quests for, they're missing the point. of course, again, Valir and Zale don't have anything to say. Because when it's time to make a decision, to make a choice, to think and to act, to speak, to do anything, they ellipsate, and the audience insert character, the fat, stupid asshole, is the one to speak. Can you help us in any way? Like the newbie, first time D&D player just jumps straight to the thing. Hey, can you tell me how you can help me? I need your help. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my goal is. I don't know why I've been brought here. I don't know what you can do. I don't know how you can help me, but will you help me? And now the DM has to hold their hand through telling them through now has to hold their hand through the conversation, the RP of it all, to then get the NPC to tell you what it can do. And now we've even got the DM, the Dungeon Master insert character, turning off the encounter because you didn't do it right. Alright, that was boring. Let's reset his memory. Because we have to have this magic MacGuffin do something. Yeah, okay, so you see what they're doing. Now they're trying to introduce choice and conversation, and that you can engage with these people and talk, and then you can fuck it up. Well, you can just back up time and try it again, is what they're doing. They realized that the moving the sun in the sky, the Moon Knight power, that being able to manipulate time like that does have ramifications for consciousness and other people's experience. So they forward him forward in time, forward him back, or they push him forward in time, push him back in time, and now to his consciousness, time hasn't, that thing never happened. Fucking dumb. Predictable. If this, again, all of this needed to be in the first 2 hours of the game. All of this that's happened so far in the game, all of the story elements, all of this needed to happen inside 2 hours. You eat. I bet you eat is the one who throws you. Yeah, he literally asked it what it could do for them, and then it was like, well, now that I've told you what it can do, what I can do, I want you to do something for me in return. And he's like, no, we're not playing D&D. We're not doing the gift. No, we're gonna skip that. Reverse time, forward time. All right, just ask him to do what you want him to do. Like, it's such a. They're skipping all of the work and all of the fun of roleplay. Like these roleplay sections, this is supposed to be, even in a Metroidvania, this would be, you have to do something for him, go out, do the thing, come back to him, he gives you the MacGuffin, then you go back through the thing to the special area that was locked to you, get the special thing that you need, and then go to the new area and do it all over again, rinse, repeat. And it's like, they realize that there's already too much tedium in this game, so they skip what they think you think is going to be tedious. But no, we play role-playing games so that we can role-play. Like, Zale and Valir didn't even speak in that engagement. They didn't even speak. It's like the silent protagonist thing. The silent protagonist argument is one that gamers have been having for 30 years. Once console gamers realized that there were two ways to do it, there was the Western and there was the Eastern way to do an RPG, we have been arguing amongst ourselves about whether it's preferable or whether it even makes sense to have a perfectly silent protagonist, to the point that, like, we just laugh at the idea of the amnesiac as the main character, the fish out of water. But JRPGs, I mean, look at Pokemon. Pokemon's not a JRPG, but it's a game that uses all of the JRPG tropes to make you feel comfortable so that you'll just play the game and role play, in a way, being this Pokemon master, even though the game in no way wants you to do any other sort of role playing. I don't remember how I got started to close that up. So how overpowered is he? And of course he's got poison. And he's already got his ultimate. And it's poison. What the fuck? What? Arcane damage. Well, I hate him as a character even more than I hate Zale. I've been promising to take Zale out of my party at the first possible opportunity, no matter who it was, and now I have to renege on that promise because the Reshan is his name is so much worse. Oh, I'm annoyed again. I'm annoyed. I'm gonna be annoyed for a while. This video is just gonna have to end with me being annoyed. I really should have ended it before now, but you know what, fuck it. Just stick to the 2-hour thing. Damn. See how far I can get in 2 hours. Dun, 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 dun. I like the music so much, though. In parts, I like the music. Some parts, I find the music intolerable. We're gonna find out how good I am at syncing this if the music is caught in the microphone again. Because I might have it up too high. But whatever. I don't remember hearing it during my volume test. But I don't remember if I had this game's volume on while I did my volume test. So, you know, I don't know how professional I am. That's a lie. I know exactly how professional I am. I'm not getting paid. Fuck you. They're gonna really make me use Reshan just constantly, aren't they? Yep. It's gonna force me to it. Oh, I didn't. I fucked that up. Thought I'd fucked that up. I thought I was using her. But made it work. I'd like to level again. That's another thing, is like I don't think they really appreciate how much we gamers get off on leveling. Well, I know they don't appreciate how much we get off on leveling because they only give you 4 abilities. Just no interest in making me and satisfying my power fantasies. Okay. Weird puzzle. Did I want to do that? Valir and Rashawn learn Arcane Moon. I guess I did want to learn that. Do you hear that? Is there like a really... Yes, there was a really loud keening for some reason. Which one is it? It's this one. Let's see what this does. Yeah, they realize that they need to give you some sort of crowd control for getting them grouped together for AoE. I talked about this in an earlier episode, that they thought about it because they've played 4th edition D&D a little bit, but I don't know. It's just, it's not useful because I don't know. Moving them around the battlefield just doesn't look cool. It doesn't look cool, and it doesn't seem to have any particular efficacy. Because, like I said, the abilities that... How do I want to put this? The abilities that have AoE, but it's limited, that don't just say in the description, hit all. We don't get to know how big the... Yeah, you hear that? What is that noise? Can you hear that? That is awful. It's like the angriest cicada. Oh, it's terrible. I hope that doesn't... It does. What is that noise? I hate it when I hate it when this game, like Final Fantasy X doing it, where they've got Owaka, and he's wherever you are next, he's selling. Wherever you're going to be next, he's selling, or wherever you're going next, he's at the beginning to sell you gear that's better than what you have available to you. Like, that's not annoying. I'm not reacting like that to Owaka because you come to love Owaka a little bit, and then other games like it's one of the Resident Evils has the merchant that's always there for whatever reason. He's always following along with you, but I hate the way they've done this, and I suddenly have to pee. So bet your ass that I made you suffer through that keening. I could hear that keening in my bathroom. I'm not editing this. Man, that is the worst, that noise. Listen to it. It's just still going. Golly. And then it goes away in combat. Yeah, that's obviously a glitch. That is not supposed to sound like that. That's horrible. Oh, right. I wasn't done in there. So does it hit everyone? Is it now going to suck everyone over there? I mean, it looks cool, but it's unnecessary. Because, like, I guess it groups everybody up so I can use Sunball, but Sunball is not his most powerful ability. Grassassin. Hmm. I was about to say I'm doing it again. I'm not really respecting the game, but I'm about to level. Damn, it's still... Maybe it's not a graphical or a glitch. Maybe it's not an audio glitch. But I really feel like they cannot have wanted me to listen to that. What did I do to you? Is this gonna let me jump up there? I would like to know what I did to make these developers so mad. So, climb back up here. Do some platforming. How am I? But that doesn't get me over there. What? So what end am I doing what I'm doing? Yeah, I can't throw the grapple again while I'm in midair. So I can get over here, and I can get over here, and I can get back up here. Isn't this how I came in here? Yeah, but I needed to talk to him anyway because he's got better gear. How do I... God, that noise is awful. Jeez. Sigh. Who the fuck is Yolande? I can still hear that keening. That's crazy. There's just one angry cicada hanging out in this woods, letting everybody know that he is both horny and angry. It's just a 13-year-old. I don't see... I don't see any reason to do that. It won't... Nothing happens when I do that. I can't break blocks. And then this has no efficacy. I just moved it forward 2 days in time, by the way. Can I break it with that file? I see. I didn't notice the path. Why am I already getting a new weapon for him? Like, they're doing it again. They did that with... I had the same issue when they first gave me Sarai. And why do I only have to buy what? Like, I haven't had to buy a new pot lid for Garl, and I haven't had to buy daggers. What the? for Sarai in a long time, maybe ever. That noise, I can still hear it. I complimented them on letting me grapple onto the climby bits here, and I'm glad that they're now using a dungeon where that's actually a part of the puzzle to solve it, is having to throw onto the ladders. So again, someone play tested this. I just don't think it was them. Someone gave them alpha feedback so that they could make interesting choices, or at least interesting edits. They didn't do the most with it. This game is a D-. Solid D-. I would rather not play anything than play this. Man, our fish are being real loud. Alright, we'll start wrapping this up at the save point, and I'll call it part whatever, and then we'll reconvene. Because I feel like I should check on whatever just happened with that fish. Ooh, I wasn't paying any attention. I'm gonna wipe. Because I'm not allowed to run. No sense in doing that. There is sense in... He doesn't have that much health. Shit. I was talking shit about needing to cook, and now I'm down to one food. So, you know. It's like someone play tested this, and with one piece of critique or feedback, they adjusted to the feedback one item at a time. This is why I need to be able to run, because I'm going to have to absorb 5 hits. I'm not going to do it. Literally impossible. I couldn't do it. Absorb 5. It's fine. I acknowledge that I wasn't treating the game with respect, and every time I do that, it makes me wipe. To remind me, hey... I don't know where this is in relation to the fight that I just did. Oh, the fight I just did, right before it. Start me back with full health, full mana. Great. Great news. Those little ball dudes, the roach... I'm not trying to read that. Those are exactly like the little slime dudes in Chrono Trigger. Hey, so I've never played Chrono Cross, but I own it. What if I played that next? Since I can't play Chrono Trigger, because I don't have a I don't have an adapter for my phone so that I could capture it and just show exactly how many times this game steals from Chrono Trigger. What if I played Chrono Cross, the sequel to Chrono Trigger, for you guys? Who would watch that? That's not spoiling a new game. What if I just did damage? Prevented one attack. Because this actually isn't that bad. I can absorb all of these attacks when I don't have, you know, everybody else dead. I should try... Fuck it, just get the kill. I'm not likely to get a death here. Of course, I do get a death, because the game can't resist the opportunity to stack hits on one guy. It just can't. Okay. I'm so bored with the combat mechanic. And then he doesn't do both. Yeah, sure. What the hell? It'll do a little bit of damage to that and make it a little bit weaker. That's something. Ugh. Lame attack. See, I don't like these combat mechanics where they want you to focus on stunning when you can't stun everything that they can do, and so they're not balanced, and they're not designed to be balanced in such a way that you can stun everything that they do just by focusing damage. Either encourage me to stun lock the enemies by only using their weaknesses, or let AoE be effective at preventing them from doing massive amounts of damage to me every turn. Oh my god. Hate this game. So tired of saying it. So let's see. Will it suck him over to this guy? And will it do damage to both of them? That's a decent attack. It doesn't benefit me to have them all gathered up, though. No. That was my fault. We're starting to get enough MP that she's useful. No, she's extremely useful. It's just starting to get enough MP that she can use her abilities twice. We stack him HP every opportunity we can get. I guess just stack magic to make that abeyance or whatever it's called, to make it as powerful as possible. I don't know why I thought that they were all going to start talking to one another like that fight was important to them, because it wiped me. Don't make me actually. Paper Mario! can't not see Paper Mario every time I do that. Can't not. It's impossible for me. Not only because I played Paper Mario for the first time very recently, whenever the SNES emulator came onto the Switch and it was available to me. I didn't finish it. I didn't like it very much. It's not as good as Super Mario RPG. It's just not. And Origami King is just not a very good game. There's the shell of a good game there. It just doesn't... It doesn't do enough with the Mario premise to justify itself. Like, not everything needs to justify itself. I don't know that I believe that everything needs to justify itself. But I think the bias of my language use suggests that I do in fact think that everything needs to justify itself. And that there is a difference in justifying yourself and insisting on yourself, and that insisting on yourself, if I'm calling back to old conversations, insisting on yourself is kind of, maybe not even kind of, maybe is definitely the opposite of justifying yourself. Maybe it's the insistence that indicates to me that there's no justification to be found. That's not very powerful. That could be a lot more powerful. I probably drift back and forth in front of the mic as I'm playing this. I don't love the mic being in my periph. Usually the best way to deal with enemies in a JRPG is to just burn them as quickly as possible. But this game, I complained about it earlier, this game wants to dick you around and have you spread damage around. And so I guess they've figured that out by this point in the game, and so he is an attempt to rectify that. Does she have any kind of... I don't want to do that. What if I... How did I fuck that up? Not sure. Did a lot of damage though. Shit. Probably would have killed that guy if I'd... Oh. These things are real weak to poison for some reason. Weird. That keening is still going on. And why did that jump straight down? I hate that that is something that the game will do. Yeah, I still hear that keening. It's like it got louder. Well, so much for finding a save point in the next 10 or 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes ago. Doink. This might just have to be a good old actual two-parter. Oh. I wish I weren't so tempted every time I pull out Garl to call him Tubbs. You're going, alright, Tubbs. It didn't put them close enough. Waste of my fucking time. Like, look, it didn't even put them close enough that this AoE ability will hit them both. Just a waste of my time engaging with that spell for anything other than the low mana cost and the AoE damage. I don't know how much she's gonna do, but I bet it's gonna be more than 48 and less than 112. Called it. Like, I am okay with them being weak to him, because, you know, it justifies him being in this part of the game, and more importantly, it justifies his skill set. So you get to practice with his skills when they're uniquely powerful. I don't know why that one didn't work. I don't know why it stopped. I wish I didn't say that every time, or reference wanting to say it every time. But I do, and I'm gonna continue, because I'm gonna keep fucking that up and not knowing why. The music's decent. And again, every time I mention it, my next thought is, well, it fucking better be. I'm over here, like, long blinking to keep my eyes open, and then I'm trying to rely on shit! I fuck her up so often. Long blinking and going off the audio cues to get their attacks and fucking them up. What the hell? Has he been there the whole time? Every time I fuck her, I attack when she draws back. Every time. Hers is a longer animation than the others. She does a much more pronounced drawback when she jumps in front of the enemy. That looks cool. I don't like that it's a clock. Where's all the other mechanical technology in this world? Ooh, I really like this. Alright. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Talking to Myself Gaming. I am talking to myself, and you hopefully are going to have a better day than I have had. Until next time.